What's up? Is there? Doing great. Doing fine. Doing dandy. How you doing, my dude? Yeah, dude. It's straight up blue, dude. Blue man group in it. It's a little too blue. Double D double die. Ooh. There we go. Yes. Yeah. Me too. Yep. The God among men. No. Just. Oh yeah. He has ascended to his throne. Yeah. Similar things. Yep. So after. Yeah. After all things went south at DC. Um, thanks to various publishing initiatives that ended up screwing over his stuff, and New Gods and all that stuff gradually getting canceled. Um, he ended up going back to Marvel, and which killed him, by the way, crushed him. New Gods was like his passion project. Um, yeah. But he still wanted to do big high concept mythological thing. That was its own thing. New Gods initially was, wasn't dealing with any other DC stuff. So then he did Eternals, which was his next step at that. Um, and again, that was initially outside the Marvel universe. It wasn't until other people got their hands on it that they made it part of the universe. So yeah, yes, yep. It was its own universe. That's why, as you know, in the movie and stuff, they explain, their names, right? Like Icarus and Athena and Gilgamesh and Makari, um, are all names that are similar to mythological gods, right?
Yeah.
Um, and in the original um, book, it was because, or it's those were their names, and people, those stories, those myths arose because of their interactions with them,
It makes
right?
sense. Yeah, it's pretty logical when it's all
Yeah,
laid out like that.
yeah. So, um, yeah, the here's immediately, this is the thing. So, I was cautious. I was excited that something entirely so Kirby it hurts was going to be made. Um, but I was cautious. And the first trailer came out, and as we're seeing in these trailers stuff here,
Yeah.
it's all very kind of sleek and kind of pretty looking. Um, which, if you know anything about Kirby, it's all big, bombastic. Sometimes it's messy. It's vibrant. It's sometimes ugly.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and there's none of that. It's very um, sleek and very pretty looking. And so from the bat, I was a little like,
And that
but
cast, like they couldn't
yeah,
have picked sexier people to be in this
yeah,
movie
yeah.
when you get down
Which I
to it.
mean, kind of works because they're supposed to be gods and stuff, right? People view
Yeah.
them as gods, so
Nothing wrong with that.
attractive people, yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense. But so the original story, um, because they literally threw everything out with this movie. It it's like the only thing it shares is the names of the characters, some of the similar designs and costuming a little bit, um, and some of the tangential connection. Um, but the rest of it's pretty much thrown the fuck out, all the way gone.
Hmm.
Um, the original story in the books, right, is the Celestials come to Earth, right, and they do genetic experiments on prehistoric man, right,
Themselves for
and
their own motivations.
yeah,
Yeah.
and from that, from those experiments comes two races: the Eternals and the Deviants. Um,
And from
and the
my understanding, the
yeah,
deviants in the source material are
yes,
have a lot. There's different casts of them, or like there's different
yep,
examples of them.
yep,
They're the genetic dead ends, basically.
yep, exactly, and they're
Yeah.
humanoid, also important.
Yeah.
Um, and they are like the eternal enemies of, well, the Eternals, but like the goal of the Eternals is to protect humanity, just in general, right?
Yeah.
And that is how you get the mythology, because they interact with them and all that stuff. Um, whereas in the movie, the Eternals are aliens, from a place called Olympia, which is the name of like the pocket dimension city thing that some of them live in. There's three Eternal cities on Earth. One of them's Olympia. Um,
Okay.
there's a couple other ones. But which appropriately is in fucking Greece, right? Mount Olympus type shit. Um, and but in this, they're aliens from a place, planet, whatever, called Olympia, and that big boy is going to come into the conversation a little bit here too.
I know.
Um,
I know, right?
and the deviants are more bestial and are like quadrupeds.
Yeah, they just look like snake panthers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
though they're not intelligent for the most part. The leader kind of evolves throughout the movie.
Yeah,
But
he gains the ability to speak
yeah, and
eventually.
his
Yeah.
character, he is a character in like the person, the thing, that thing in the movie um is supposed to be like the leader of the deviants of the comics.
Okay. Yeah.
Not that it matters or that he's ever named in the movie, but yeah, and the deviants are just these abnormalities that the Celestials send the Eternals to Earth to protect humanity from, not to interfere in anything else. Um,
Yeah.
let
So
humanity develop.
that much they stayed true to.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that was kind of their way to explain then why they haven't been active in any of the other movies, why they didn't help during the Thanos stuff,
Yeah.
all that, right?
Yeah.
Um, but even that, which is different, gets turned on its head eventually in a very confusing way.
Yeah, cuz like I know you probably have a lot you want to say in your with your main man over there at Fargonauts.
Yeah,
But I
but
guess yeah.
I'll get into stuff still.
Yeah.
Don't
But
worry.
I guess the thing about this is that there's a lot about this movie as they could have made it that I would have loved.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, and I'm not even someone who has read the Eternals comics, but I'm just
Dude,
a
I'm not even a
yeah
huge Eternals
yeah
fan.
yeah. It's like just as an absorber of mythos and minutia,
Mm-hmm.
like I care about it, and I'm not opposed to books with
Yeah.
with this kind of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought a lot about the Authority, like
Yes.
in the the initial build up that this movie takes, because they do all kind of represent like the notion of the like they literally are the eternal champions that represent
Yes.
all the different archetypes of humans. Like Icarus is the sun god, and
Yep.
so on and so forth.
Yep. And they're trying to
Yeah,
help. They're trying to aid and like kind of usher humanity
forward.
into
Yeah,
their potential. Yeah.
yeah,
Like you could see that pretty early, like in the opening scene, right? where you first meet them, where they fight the first deviant that you see. It
And
attacks
yeah,
the like Neanderthals or whatever,
yeah.
and then the ship comes in, and
And
then
goddamn, and I got fucking like there was a beautiful little moment that pissed me off because no one has used this until now, and I have wanted to
yep,
in a movie someday. Like I
mm-hmm,
literally have it in my mind how I would have used it,
yep,
and she did the exact same thing.
yep.
The using time by Pink Floyd to
I know, right?
it's instantly just like that was like Chloe Zhao's like 2001 A Space Odyssey moment,
Yep.
and
As soon as
she
they heard bow, and I was
yeah,
like, oh shit.
oh there it is, you know, and
Yep,
the hard cut to the present day. I was like,
yep,
okay, that was quite the jump, guys.
yeah. But like when you get that, I don't remember if it's in the first scene of it or when they go back to that point later. After they defeat the deviant, um, they like kind of approach the Neanderthals, and Cersei bends down and grabs their stone knife or whatever,
Yeah,
and then she changes it into metal, right? Thus, kind of helping to push them forward, right?
yeah,
That was metal instead of taking them, trying to take them out of the Stone Age, right? Um, and they work behind the scenes on stuff. There's a point where you see, oh man, what's his name? Tyree, whatever, Tyree Henry or whatever his name
is
is.
that Fastos?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, there's a point where it's way in the past where he like shows them like, oh look, I got this thing that I developed. What is it? Oh, it's an engine that runs off steam, whatever. Or he invents the steam engine to help them out, and they're like, no, this is too advanced for them right now. I don't think they're ready for it.
yeah,
He's like, fine, check this shit out. It's a plow. It plows dirt. Like,
yeah.
um, so it's like they're kind of working behind the scenes to help advance humans, right?
They even allude to the fact that he might have caused Hiroshima to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because all the advancements he helps make, inevitably leads to that, right?
Okay. Yeah, that I guess that is
Whether he
the
he's
yeah.
they don't direct say if he's directly involved in it,
Okay, I guess that's where my misunderstanding was.
but
Is
he for
yeah.
sure has, there's
He
at least that bit, right?
yeah, it's like him realizing he's knocked the dominoes down, and
Yep,
it's
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. They're there because of what he started.
yeah.
What's funny is there's the little bit of trailer there that's playing. There's a little bit of the scene that's day for night in there, and
It's
it's not day for night in the trailer.
I
It's just
have
day.
it's this day. I have to confess, the version of the film I saw was so
Yeah,
trash. I just thought it was just the camera,
yeah,
the handy cam in the theater causing it to look that way.
yeah.
I can't believe
I
that a mainstream film made by an Academy Award winning filmmaker would do
dude,
that.
I didn't either. I was sitting there watching it, and it was like, because that point it's later in the movie. They're going to get Druig at that point. Who's that actor we just saw a little bit ago on there from Dunkirk.
Yeah, Barry
Um,
Kagan, I think his name is.
yeah, and he has stayed in this spot where they kind of fractured and left, split up from each other, and and um they get there. When they get there, it's daytime. Um so it so then they're there for a while, so then it's kind of used to show that they've been there for a while, right? The day for
Yeah,
night.
yeah, but they really need to show that that much time had passed?
No, and the other thing with it too is it's the age old thing where they're using darkness to cover up shitty CGI, right? um for those who don't know, day for night is um when you shoot something during the day and you add a blue filter to it, essentially to make it look like it's nighttime.
Yeah.
Um, lot of old movies would just use a blue screen or like a blue filament or whatever.
Yeah.
Now they probably just do it digitally. But and it's like when that happened, when they came out, because the deviants show up, and when they come out and you see that, and I'm just like, wait a minute, no, is this day for night?
This can't
And then
be.
like, yeah, and then it's keeps going. I'm like, dude, it totally is, because you look at the sky itself still showing brightness, right?
So
And like there's a couple points where you actually see the sunlight streaming through the trees even. So it's like, oh my god. Like that or that it compounds two things I hate, which is um covering up, you know, trying to save $1 on CGI by cloaking it in darkness,
well,
and then day
yeah,
for night.
and that's what I mean. Like these movies are made in advance. Like
Yes.
the most like the what made me kind of accept Marvel for what it is was finding out that the workflow of the
Mm-hmm.
whole system
Mm-hmm.
involves these effects houses coming up with the movies themselves.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
create what they know will be the widescreen splash page sequences, and
Yep.
then the filmmakers are just kind of like they need to figure out a way of arriving at those
How to
moments
get there.
and
Yep.
exiting them,
Yep.
and that is what the Marvel Cinematic Method is. And
And
I
this is
just
not that.
this is yeah, that's what I mean. Like this looks like like they did the I'm struggling to find the words because
Yeah.
the precision with which these films are made is not present
It's not
here.
there.
Is not
No,
there.
it's not.
Like the fact
It
that the
screams of like early MCU stuff.
it screams shit that used to happen on the Sci-Fi Channel when they made
Yeah,
miniseries back in the day.
dude,
Like
for real.
if you watch the Sci-Fi Dune miniseries, it's worth your
Yeah.
time. But no, that you will see lots of day for night in that because they're trying to
Yeah.
simulate sand dunes, and all they have is blue key lights to
Yep.
like signify the fact that it's not actually daytime, and it looks really
And some
bad.
of it's, yeah.
It
Some of
looks
it's a
yeah,
lack of lighting, whether it's just budgetary or time.
but this is
Like
Marvel.
it, but there's Marvel.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. Immediately, okay, so let's just track each time we see the deviants, right?
yeah,
First time is that opening scene, right? So of course we're introduced to them. They have to be in the light, right? So we can see what they are. Um, and that's a relatively quick scene. Um, Next time we see them is in London, right? In the present day. And when does that happen? At nighttime, right? So as soon as that happened, I was like, oh, here's that old trope. We're cloaking cheap CGI, like but saving some budget on CGI by doing this at night. Okay.
it seems like the silliest thing to same budget on. It's
Yeah.
how much money did they save? They should have
And
like
then
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And then the next time we see the deviants, we don't even I think the next time we see them is um I think it's the scene in the forest when they are at like Tenochtitlan or whatever, and it's after they've killed that last one or whatever, what they perceive as the last one. So we don't see them there, but it's also night. Um, then the next time we see one, it's dead. It's just a dead one, so you don't have to spend too much time on that. Um, and then the time after that is the day for night, right?
yeah,
Masked. The time after that then is the flashback scene where Icarus takes Ajax up to wherever the fuck it is, where the ones have emerged from the ice that's melted. And that's mostly at a distance until she's down with them, and it's just a little bit, right?
yeah. So
And then the next time which is our last time, is with the main fucker, right? He has he shows up during that final fight. They fight with him for a minute, and then what happens? He fucks off to a cave.
Yeah.
So then Thena goes to a cave to fight him, which appropriately, guess what? It's dark. So every time it's cloaked by darkness for the most part, unless it's either an abbreviated thing or it's to establish what the character is, right?
Yeah. So what went wrong here? Like like because I guess that's the beef.
Where do we start?
Where do we start? Because we know what the
Pacing,
yeah,
horrible.
yeah. But as far as the presentation of the villain, like, or
Yeah.
of the antagonists, they're just
They made the classic big action sci-fi movie mistake of making them a big mess of CGI.
yeah, that has no
Um,
personality, is not
no personality.
distinctive. Yeah,
You don't feel like there's a real villain until I mean, arguably you could say it all, but like
yeah,
until the very end, once that main fucker is like completed his evolution,
yeah,
and then your little twisty boy of who we thought was not whatever. I don't care about spoilers. Who we
yeah,
thought was fucking Icarus, right?
yeah.
Total character assassination of Icarus, which was fucking that pissed me off. Um,
But
but like
but
you have no
the
real villain the whole time.
arguably the bad guys are the Celestials.
Yeah, who we never see. We just see it. If I never hear the fucking name Eshram again, I'll be fucking happy
I know they kept on saying it over and over and over
every
again.
time. That was weird to me too. Was that they treated it like a almost religious thing, where they like worshipped Eshram, kind of this fucker right here.
Hmm.
Who again, uh, Celestial is one of the most Kirby looking things of all time. They sleeked the fuck out of those things too. Um, and like so he was like some weird it was almost like a religious figure that they like that they almost treated like a god, which again kind of makes sense because he created them, whatever. But he's one of many Eternals,
Exactly.
and like he's Eshram the judge. It's like its thing is judgment, and like and he's not the only one that created the Eternals, right? In the comics, whatever. But in this, he is. He's single-handedly the one. Um, and that, uh, and like you only find out they're the real bad guys, at like the end, right? Toward
Pretty
middle of the
much.
movie,
Yeah.
middle of the movie.
Past the point
What
where you should be, I don't know, like,
established a villain,
exactly. You should at least have a red
motives.
you should have a red herring villain that is at least, effective. This movie
Yeah.
did not have that. It had mush.
No, by the time the
Yeah.
red herring villain was established and developed enough to be a threat, it was the end of the movie, and he was a side battle in the final battle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you never want to sidebar a worthwhile villain.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's the whole gimmick, like with Iron Man
Yes.
3, where the whole point is that, oh wait, this guy is just a British actor. Okay. Yeah,
Look, Jemiah the Analyzer, who we never fucking see in the movie. That was pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I've been doing some mining of YouTube thought
Yeah.
on because that's what you have to do with something that is unsatisfying is you you have to crack open the carcass and find what's
Mm-hmm.
usable. And what could be usable, is the cosmic horror of it all, of
Yeah.
realizing, oh, this planet that we live on is just an egg
It's an egg.
for
Yeah.
for this crazy, inexplicable being.
Yeah.
And yeah,
It bolsters life
and yeah, it feeds
to
off of it.
to feed the birth of another celestial in order so it can bolster more life.
Yeah, like it's
Circle of life. bullshit,
It's
right?
yeah, metal as fuck though. At the same time,
Yeah,
in its
yeah.
implications.
Like as a concept, cool.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
down for it. I'm here for it. But
but the twist of it all, I'm gonna get into the twist because that's what really fucks me up. Um, the twist you find out because Thena, you see in flashbacks, and then eventually once you catch up with her, she's going through some shit. What they call the mad worry. Um, which which ex- they explain. There's what that deviant guy is supposed to look like. The mad worry, as they explain it, is when an Eternal's mind kind of collapses on itself from being alive for so long, right? From
yeah,
experiencing so much.
yeah, for being alive for
Um,
so long and not being able to turn yourself off.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And that's like the explanation initially for what the mad worry is. Because she starts saying shit like, "Oh, this we're gonna destroy this city" or something, and like and starts fighting against her friends and like all this stuff or her family. Um, and you find out it's because the big twist being um once Ajax dead, Cersei takes over as being like Eternal Prime, and she's the one that is the intermediary now between Eshram and the rest of the Eternals.
yeah,
And so Eshram finally divulges what the real mission is, and that's as we said, they plant a seed in a planet. They send the Eternals to said planet to make sure that the deviants don't fuck shit up, so that the population can bolster and the energy from an increased population can feed this baby Eternal or Celestial until it is ready and it will hatch and destroy the fucking planet, right?
right.
Um, and then the reason why the deviants were the first ones that they created in order to do this, to prepare a planet to whatever. But they made the mistake of creating conscious beings, the actual organic conscious beings
Hmm.
that evolved and and started to rebel and revolt, and they didn't like that. So Eshram then, which is the dumbest fucking thing to me, creates the Eternals, who are hyper advanced robots.
Is that what they are?
Yeah, that's how it's explained. Hyper advanced robots. And as he's explaining it to Cersei, you see basically it's like it's not just that, and then it just kind of replicates. So the insinuation is they got a bajillion copies of them, and they've been doing this. It's not this. They think that they were sent from Olympia to Earth, and that is has been their mission, that has been their
Existence.
prime mission for their existence, right?
Yeah.
One, Olympia is not a place. It never was. It was an
Yeah.
implanted memory, and Olympia in actuality is just this fucking lab thing called the World Forge,
Oh my
and
god.
um, and they have been sent out countless times. These same Eternals have done this countless times,
God,
countless
that
planets,
that was the implication of it. You're right. Oh my god.
and yeah, countless times, and they die. Like they'll die, and then they just fucking kickstart a new one, and then like they erase their memories. They contain that little weird green glowy honeycomb looking thing that we just saw.
Yeah.
That's where they store their memories. Um, um, I forget the reason why they store their memories after they've wiped them. There was an explanation. I don't remember.
Just for the records,
I guess, yeah.
the Akashic records need to be
So,
maintained.
so here is where the issue happens. So the Eternals are robots. At the end of the movie, on the post-credit stingers, like half the remaining Eternals stay on Earth. The other half go off into space to try and find the other Eternals to tell them what they've learned, right?
Yeah.
Um, so the end credit scene is them on their ship, the ones that have gone into space. They have been unsuccessful up to this point. They start sensing some shit, some energy shit starts happening, and then boom, a dude gets fucking burped through, and it's Pip the Troll, which made me happy because I love Pip the Troll. It's a
Fucking
classic character.
Then Harry Styles
Nope,
shows up.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Pip the Troll, voiced by Patton Oswalt.
Yeah.
Um, and then he makes this grand announcement. The Prince of Titan, brother of Thanos, eternal whatever, Star Fox, and it's Eros, aka Star Fox, Thanos' brother, as played by Harry Styles. So here, which I was wondering if they would do, we get the official confirmation, as it is in comics, that Thanos is an Eternal,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So now there's issues that arise now. Is Thanos a robot?
So what if he is?
Is he a robot? If he is, he would be a renegade one that has resisted his programming. So you'd think that the Celestials would take care of that. Also, why does he look like that?
Yeah,
Because in
yeah.
the comic books, the reason he looks like that is because he was born with the deviant gene. That is why he looks like that.
And since the
That's why
deviants
he's big, purple,
yeah.
and has the nutsack chin.
Yeah.
Is because he has the deviant gene.
And since the deviants have really no explanation beyond, oh, we hate earthlings and want to eat mankind.
And they have no other, they're not humanoids, they're these
Yeah.
bestial predators, apex predators. So they have no genetic or historical connection to the Eternals outside of they were two created species, right? By the
Yeah.
same people.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, how
so why
can
does
they?
Thanos look like that? And
Yeah.
then
How can he
if it
have
is,
a
if
brother?
they have the deviant thing still part of it with Thanos, then it wouldn't make sense that they wouldn't have interfered, because they would only interfere if it was deviant related. So if Thanos was still part deviant, they should have interfered in that. So that means he's not. But then why does he look like that? And is he a robot? And how does he have a brother if there's
He's
no
if they don't have parents.
exactly? There's a whole issue here now.
Don't they have like an entire army of people
They've never
devoted to...
procreated,
No, no,
right?
I'm talking about Marvel.
Oh yeah,
I'm talking about
yeah,
the studio. Don't they
yeah.
have like an army of people who literally just do nothing but sit around and think about
Yeah.
this shit?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't the whole
Yep.
point that it's the most coherent and well thought out
Yep.
film universe that will ever happen?
Mm-hmm.
How can they just dud this fucking bad
Yeah.
and just leave us with a pile of shit in our hands? Basically,
How does this get explained?
yeah.
And the answer is it probably won't. It probably just will ignore it and hope nobody notices it. But I fucking
It
noticed it
just forgets about this pointless fucking movie that
at fucking
should
5 a.m. in the morning. This yesterday morning, I noticed that.
because like the whole like the complexity of it, I don't know, it's baroque to think about, but it's so like it's just a mess. It makes no
Yeah,
sense. It makes no
because they
sense.
say too, once they find out they're robots or whatever, they're like, oh, that makes sense why we always stay young, why we never age, why we're
Mhm.
immortal. It's not because they have superpowers, it's because they are robots.
Oh my god.
So the implication is they are not organic fully.
Yeah, and how do they overcome their programming? How do they resist what their masters have
Somehow the magic,
commissioned
like
them?
all things like this, the magical good people of Earth changed them. You know what I mean? But well, and part of it is because they didn't know that that's their programming, right? Because their minds
Well,
wiped every single time.
yeah,
And when
but
they're here, they've come to care for the people and the planet.
so we're talking
And
about hero.
This
This
being
is like
the
BioShock.
yeah,
This is like think like would you kindly,
yeah,
but for
and
these
Ajax being the
characters.
leader that actually knows all this, right?
Yeah.
She's known this the whole time. She's the only one that maintains those memories. She's the catalyst of it, right? She's the one that changes. Um, because you find out, this is the great character assassination of Icarus, that once he discovers that, or once it's getting close, because towards the end, the Cersei's talking about like, oh, we're so lucky to have you, or some shit like that, and he's like, oh, I'm not the person you think I am, type situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it flashes back, and you find out he also 5,000 years ago was clued into it by um by Ajax
Jack.
of what the real mission is. Um, and so he, in this flashback, it's just before the events of the present day movie stuff happens. He goes to see um Ajax because the time is coming for the emergence to happen. That's what they call it.
Yes.
Um, and he goes there to talk to her about it, and then she's having doubts and she wants to stop the emergence from happening. But Icarus is a good soldier. He's like, no, we serve the Celestials. This has to happen. That's why we're here.
He's stuck in his programming.
So then he's stuck in his program. And so then he's like, here, I gotta show you something. And that's where that other deviant thing happens that I was talking about earlier, where
Mm-hmm.
he brings her to, I don't know if it's North Pole or somewhere up near there, because there's woods, so it can't really quite be the North Pole. But like,
Yeah.
they go through forest and there's a cliff. They look down, they see the deviants there, and he's like, I just discovered this not too long ago. They must have emerged as the ice has been melting. Um,
Global warming woke
yeah,
up the deviants.
the deviants, right?
Yeah.
And so um it's like it's not the last of them, whatever. And then she kind of gets a hint somehow that there's a nefarious reason for this. Not quite clear how she knows, but she's like, oh, you want to stop me, or you don't want to whatever. And he's like, this is what we're supposed to do, blah 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 blah. It's like, but you won't kill me yourself. He's like, nah. And he pushes her over the cliff, and the deviants get at her. Big Daddy Deviant sticks his fucking tentacles all up in her, absorbs her energy, gets her power, whatever. That's how he evolves. Um, and so now we find out Icarus is a bad guy. He's the bad guy, and he becomes the main bad guy at the end. And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, that
The
final
guy
boss
who is
battle.
the guy who is in the comics, like you said, like a Superman equivalent. Like he is, even though he's not the leader, he is like the field leader. He's like the Cyclops of the group, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
He's the field leader. He's the one they all trust in, the one they all follow. He's the bad guy. He killed their leader. Um, he has no problem with the fact that he might have to kill the rest of his quote unquote family for this to happen. Um,
Doesn't care that he, is basically going to be sacrificing the whole human population off. No
including
quibbles.
the woman he loves too, with Cersei. Like,
Yeah, fuck her.
he's like, I wish you weren't the one who, was the leader, so you wouldn't have found out, because I don't want to have to do this, whatever bullshit. And then there's the weird gets thrown in that Sprite leaves with Icarus, and just before that happens, fucking Kingo, played by Kumail Nanjiani, realizes that Sprite loves Icarus,
Yeah, that was a
and
little
always
awkward.
has. But they can't. But she could never do anything about it because she's eternally a kid, no pun intended. Um, so she goes off with him, and so she kind of turns bad for a minute, but then she gets accepted back at the end. It's fucking. And then like I could be completely honest, in this final ass battle when they form the Unimind and shit.
Yeah,
Um, I went to the bathroom because I had to pee really bad, and I didn't really care at that point.
they had
Um,
lost you at that point.
yeah, Cersei. Oh, it had lost me a long time before that, but like Cersei and fucking Icarus were having their little showdown. And when I went back, Icarus was like kind of on his knees and crying, kind of, and like distressed and kind of in like an I'm sorry mode. And
Bitching out hard is what he did.
yeah. And then the biggest eye roll I've ever done in my life, he fucking
Flies.
went into space. And I was like, oh, he's just gonna fuck off. No, he
No,
flies into the fucking sun.
he lives
He
up to his
heroes himself
name,
into the
to the
sun.
sun. Yeah, no,
And I
it's
was just at that legit
it's so good.
literal eye roll happens there. I'm just like, oh my god, seriously?
That's the best they could come up with for the poor guy. The
It
best.
was dumb. I will say, okay, my I will say some positive things. I have few,
Mm-hmm.
but I did enjoy some of the performances. About
They
half of the cast, half of the Eternals, I thought did well. Um, I enjoyed the dude from Atlanta, fucking Tyree, whatever. I enjoyed him. The only time, that's the other thing, because there's 10 of these motherfuckers,
yeah,
and none of them get too much screen time,
it's pretty tight.
and they force the whole family angle through platitudes and like remember whens that we never see. Um, like it never feels like a family, and it never feels like when some of them you either think die or do die, you just don't care. Like
Yeah, because
it,
like they barely get enough screen time for any of
yeah,
them to be relevant. Like,
and they don't feel like family.
yeah,
But you know what did? Fucking Fastos and his family.
mm-hmm, yeah,
Fastos and his husband and son. That felt like family. His whole driving force was his care for his family. That's all he cared about. And that shone through. And he did a really good job for what screen time he had. And I was like, wow, that felt more like a family than this whole quote unquote family thing was supposed to.
yeah, and
Um,
and maybe that was their attempt of like we can't actually get this larger thing to work, so let's make this
yeah,
small
a
thing.
microcosm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it kind
Um,
of reflects like yeah what they all are striving for that even though they might not like have it together anymore.
yeah. He's the only one that went out and did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, like, so I enjoyed him. I actually enjoyed Angelina as Thena. I think she did well with kind of delivering that kind of regality and like otherness of the
Because
Eternals.
because as a public figure, as a human being, she is ethereal. And the
Yes,
way and
and
whenever you listen to this woman talk, it's like she's on another planet from the
yes,
rest of
and
us.
she delivers that pretty well in this. And like, and when she gets the like the mad worry and stuff like that, she does some interesting stuff. Like I didn't think I'd enjoy. I ended up liking her. Um, Gemma Chan, I think,
Is that the
that
deaf
played
one?
Cersei. No, played
Oh, okay.
Cersei. I thought she did well. She was kind of our main character. Um, thought she did well, and half the time I enjoyed Sprite. I enjoyed the actress that played Sprite. Half the time, some of the time, especially towards the end where they force the whole weird in love with Icarus thing,
Yeah.
then it just gets dumb. And their stuff is kind of shitty. And as much as the humor was terrible in this, I still enjoyed Kumal for the most part. Um,
as an actual comedian, like
yeah,
his quips were actually delivered naturally,
yeah.
and
There
yeah,
was he had some witty stuff.
and like in his and like it's been pointed out, but it's like the highlight of these like the two characters who actually had a mark to set beyond
Yep,
Fastos and his family is the difference between Sprite and Kingo,
yep,
and how because of their circumstances, one totally loves the fact that he lives forever, while the other one
yep,
utterly resents and
yes,
can't handle the prison that they're basically trapped in. Yeah,
exactly. And
yeah.
like, and he, he comes off charming, and even his more serious parts work for me. Um,
Because
one
I
thing,
thought he would piss me off more just
yeah, me
because
too,
of
me too.
just, but yeah, no,
Don't
he
get me wrong.
genuinely worked.
There's some shit ass lines he has to deliver for humor.
The poor man.
Um, like when they're doing the whole, a third of the movie is the get the band back together situation. Um, when they go to get him, they're like, "We need you to come with us" or whatever, and he's in the middle of shooting, his movie, and he's just like, "Man, I got all these people depending on me. We just spent a bunch of money on a BTS cameo." And I was just like, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ. And
that
then
that stuff was pretty cringe.
pandering shit. And then
Yeah.
the other one that hers when they go to get Makari, and she's stowed away on the ship. Having she does get out, she's got a bunch of stuff, modern stuff. Um, but and so Kingo is just like, "Hey, have you seen my movies?" And she's like, "No, I don't have a DVD player." And then it's the focus shifts to other characters, but you hear in the background Kumal going like, "Oh no, DVDs are the past, man. You got to get into streaming."
Mm-hmm.
And like, he's like, I need to get you a Kindle." And it's like I'm trying to describe what a Kindle is. I never realized how hard it is to describe a Kindle without someone knowing what an iPad is. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is horrible. Which is a big part for me is the writing is terrible in this movie.
Well, a committee wrote it. Like we
And it
got.
feels like it, man.
Yeah,
It feels like it.
I don't even though I think it says that Chloe Zhao technically like got wrote the script herself. There's no way she
Yeah.
did.
No.
There's at
It
least
feels like multiple voices.
there's like 17 different hands on this
Yeah.
screenplay. And if she wrote those
Oh,
jokes, it maybe would make sense.
I like dude that played Gilgamesh too.
But yeah, he's always solid. Like
Yeah, he was solid too.
he's one of those guys when it comes to international film because he's just kind of in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But like I can't really place him specifically, but I know his face very well.
Yeah, he's got his real Korean name, which I'm kind of familiar with. I can't remember, and then his like, anglicized name that he uses too. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
which I think is what he uses.
Mondong Seok, also known
Yep.
Don Lee, is
Yeah.
his Hollywood name. Yeah, because he's the
Yeah.
train to Busan guy.
Yep.
That's really
Exactly.
how I know him is from that.
Yep. Ditto. But
Yeah,
performances.
four total writers on this thing, and the
Jesus.
story was written by Ryan and Kaz Furpo, whoever they
The
are.
fuck? What
Oh
the
my
furpo is that?
Furpo. Okay, I'm gonna bring up a picture of this guy just because he's amazing.
Please. Please. I need
Cat
it.
Kaz Furpo.
Sounds like
Oh,
a Star Wars character.
he really doesn't look like a normal human being to me. Like he looks like he is like a movie character. Can I full
The
screen
fuck?
this?
Yeah, full screen that shit
How do I
if you can.
bring it to me? There we go. Yeah,
Jesus.
look at him.
He looks like a little boy.
This is who brought us the story for this fucking movie, man. This
This is the
guy,
guy that said Jack Kirby's stuff. Who
nah,
needs
man.
it?
Who needs it? Okay,
I got this.
Matthew Kazuo Firpo. So he was named one of
Okay.
Forbes' 30 under 30. Like this guy is pretty important. And
What
okay,
else has he done?
his cousin Ryan and Firpo is his cousin. So this is some cousin fun.
Oh, that's some
Basically,
nepotism.
these are just some boys who did project videos for Tinder and like commercials for Tinder, and he made a documentary about the Syrian refugee crisis. So this is like a UNICEF bad boy, a Beverly Hills
Yeah.
Film Festival
I was gonna say probably grew
winner,
up with some monies.
and he had a blacklist script. He had a movie get.
Uh,
He had what it was called Ruin. I never read that, but Margot Robbie was going to be in it, be in the adaptation. And then he wrote a movie that Netflix bought called Mimi from Rio. So that's what the build up to him getting the Eternals job was just a lot of commercial
does sound like
work.
how does sound
Yeah,
like how Marvel gets its or Disney gets its directors,
yeah.
where they have like one indie shit small thing to their name, and then they grasp onto them because they can mold them. And
Yeah, because these guys just they were hired by Marvel to write the screenplay back in 2018 based on what this Wikipedia article is telling me.
so stupid, it's so
Yeah,
weird.
Kaz Furpo.
As Furpo, dude,
God damn it, man.
legendary ass name.
So yeah, we can't really blame
Looks
Chloe
like a 12
Zhao.
year old boy with a mustache.
This is the guy that did it. This is the man responsible.
I want to fucking Kaz his Furpo so bad, dude.
Oh God, no, I just that face. I'm gonna make
15-year
it.
old boy with a full ass mustache.
God, look at that. And he must have
What's
been
that
in.
shit? What's that fucking plant shit on his neck right
Yeah, it
now?
was like, was
Get
he in
that out of here.
Hawaii? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? He was
All
on
right.
set in 2016. We'll stop ragging on Mr. Furpo, but
So
now that
performances I didn't like. Uh, back to like that aspect.
mhm.
I didn't like Dunkirk boy.
Kind of he's pointless in everything he does. He only
It wasn't believable. It sounded
yeah
like a dude reading lines. Like that's what it sounded like in
he
this movie. Anyway, I don't
probably
know if it's
he
I
didn't
don't know
have
if it's
much to
just
work with.
that's what I'm saying. It's like I can't say it's a criticism of him as an actor because with what he was given,
It's the
that might just
package.
be what it is.
Yeah.
Um, fucking Richard Madden or whatever the fuck his name was had no charisma.
Uh
He was just a neutral ass motherfucker in this
and he's
movie.
been coasting years
Yeah, off Rob.
off of Rob. I know that the Bodyguard like show for Netflix
Mm,
like it was
mm-hmm.
critically acclaimed. I haven't seen it,
Me either.
but like that seemed to kind of keep him afloat. But the fact that
Yeah,
both him and Kit Harington are in this and they
yeah,
both are just worthless.
and they get face to face time too
Yeah,
for a
it's
second.
like there should have been more with they should have
They are
yeah,
worthless because
yeah.
as we, I'm sure, I think you probably know this, but like he's Kit Harrington is just in there to set him up
To be
to
the
be Black Knight.
yeah, I did find out about that. But
Um,
what because I didn't actually watch that part, can you confirm for me? Is that Blade talking to him?
yeah, apparently I
What
didn't know
the?
that.
That was Mahershala
Me,
Ali.
yeah,
That's his
me,
first
me,
appearance.
me, and everybody else in the theater thought it was Sam Jackson. We thought it was him spooking in for some Avengers shit.
Oh my
So we all thought since we
god.
never saw him, but no,
Oh,
it was Rashad Ali and as
oh my
Blade,
god.
which he does have a connection. Okay, so this is where some speculation comes into it because so you have Blade, you have Dane Whitman who becomes Black Knight. You saw and then you have a couple other things where in when they go find Makari on the ship and Thena's in the room fucking around with a sword and Sprite goes, "Is that the Ebony Blade?" Ebony Blade is the Black Knight's sword, right? It's a cursed
Mm-hmm.
sword. And then Athena goes, "No, it's Excalibur." So there's Excalibur, and then at the end in that post credit scene, um, we have Dane Whitman trying to resist the pull of this box. Opens the box. It's the Ebony Blade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is the Black Knight's tool. Um, and so some people are thinking that this is kind of a setup for potential MI13, which is like a British shield essentially.
Yeah. So
Um,
with their
who had
Britishy occulty shit.
yeah, so it had Black Knight on it. Blade was a part of it for some reason or another. I guess maybe he's British. I don't know. And then there's a character in there who wields Excalibur as well. So, unless that's well, Captain Britain, right? So, um, so there's rumor about that, I guess. But that was such a weird thing when I found that out. I was like, what the fuck? Why this for
Yeah.
Blade?
Well, and I guess
No one knows. No one's gonna know that until like whatever happens gets revealed, right? So like,
yeah, and then the bigger question is, how does this connect to Morbius whatsoever?
no,
Because Morbius is existing in the pocket dimension of Sony Spider-Man.
yes.
Okay.
Which fun fact, which I didn't, I, me turbo nerd of all things comic books, did not know until like the other day. Um, Morbius, because Morbius and Blade obviously crossed over quite a few times,
Quite a
right?
few
Because they're
times. Yeah.
famous vampire characters in Marvel. So Morbius, right? He's not a conventional vampire. Um, he's he had some terrible disease, whatever, doing experiments using like bat shit to what to like try and cure himself. Shit happens with it. He seemingly heals himself, but he's now got powers,
Uh,
right? Yeah,
th-
I know
this
that boy.
performance just makes me laugh so much.
He's got powers. He's strong. He's whatever, but he gets like mutated, right? He gets fangs and he gets the pointy ears and pale skin,
Those
and he
crutches, man.
yeah,
Those
and
crutches are so bad.
he requires blood, right? Um, but unlike normal vampires, they die, right?
Yeah.
And they come back to life, and then they're these creatures that wholly have the hunger, crave, subsist off blood, whatever. Um, Morbius didn't die, right? That's why he's called the living vampire, right?
Mm. He just
Um,
has vampirism.
a different type. Like he
Yeah.
still requires blood, but he's not your conventional vampire. While he is allergic to sunlight, it won't kill him, right? He's just sensitive to it.
Okay.
Um, but so where Blade comes into this, Blade, half vampire, right? He gets bit by Morbius, right?
Yeah.
Um, Blade himself is immune to normal vampire bites, right? Because he's a fucking vampire, half vampire. Morbius is different. There's the like enzymes or whatever bacteria in his saliva is different, and that is what causes Blade to become a daywalker.
Uh-huh.
That's where the whole daywalker thing comes from, is him getting bit by Morbius allows
Okay.
him to be able to be in sunlight.
What is
It's
Michael
just,
Keaton? What is Michael
I fucking
Keaton
never
doing?
knew that.
What is he
I don't
doing in
know.
this movie?
I don't know.
Because I haven't
But yeah,
seen the Venom movies myself. I don't
I
really
watched
have.
the first one.
I
I
have no
finally watched
bearing
the first one.
for any of this.
It's the first Venom movie is definitely in the. It felt like a pre-Marvel Studios like Marvel movie, like somewhere in the vein of like a Ghost Rider, Punisher, even like Sony Spider-Man to a degree. Um, and then
Daredevil.
yeah, it felt like that, like the way it's shot, the way it plays out, it all feels like that. Um, the way it's written, and it kind of falls into like the like it's bad enough to be enjoyable, you know?
Yeah.
Because again, it falls into the same thing with this. It does the same exact thing. Nighttime fight scenes because symbiotes, right?
Yeah.
It's a mess of CGI that you have to animate, and it's going to cost a lot of money to make it look good. So let's do the fights at night.
God, even that Ducati wasn't real.
Yeah, right.
God.
Um, so like, so it's like that, right? And the final fight between fucking Venom and I think it's Riot, one of the Life Foundation symbiotes in the first one. That's a fucking mess, dude, because it's two CGI nonsense monsters going at each other.
God damn.
Um, but like some of this stuff, like the Venom talking, like while to me this isn't the Venom I enjoy in the comics. Part of the whole Venom Eddie relationship is kind of fun in it. That's about it. I
Mm.
haven't seen this yet. Um,
Neither have I, obviously. But
I'm probably going to
I like Tom
at some
Hardy,
point.
and I like
I
the
like Tom
idea.
Hardy.
I like the idea of him just being like decrepitly a piece of shit the entire time
Yeah.
and still being a mainstream superhero
Yep.
anyway, anti-hero, whatever you want to be.
And dude, fucking, you know I'm down for fucking Woody Harrelson as
Oh
Cletus
god.
Cassidy. Totally down for that, dude.
He's having so
Um,
much fun with it.
yeah.
He's even got the McFarlane haircut.
Yeah, right. And like I I I have a little bit of nerd motivation because a certain police detective named Mulligan is in it, and for nerds like me, Patrick Mulligan is the host of Carnage's son Toxin, who
Uh-huh.
I am a big fan of. Um, there's hints that he may be Toxin in the next movie. He's played by fucking Al Capone from Boardwalk Empire.
What? What's
Yeah, he plays
what's
Patrick Mulligan.
what's this guy do? God damn it! I
Yeah,
forget that dude's name, but
yeah, he's in the trailer a couple times.
he's been in Scorsese films. He's way too
Yeah,
important to be doing this.
yeah,
He's slumming it, man.
yeah.
Being
Um, but yeah, so what's hilarious is that this, relatively, smaller budgeted uh Sony Spider-Man-ish spin-off of Venom, the first Venom movie, has things in common with a hundreds of millions of dollars MCU movie with Eternals.
yeah, this is working out great for Sony, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
they can slap in association with Marvel in their trailers to get the
yes.
credibility, but then they still don't have to try as hard,
No.
and it
And it,
still makes money for them.
oh yeah, Venom's gonna make money no matter what. Especially, dude, the Venom movies mop up overseas, dude, in Asia. Jesus Christ. Makes so much money. Um,
But why?
oh, they like weird goopy monsters, dude.
I
Um,
guess so. Yeah.
it fits the aesthetic. But yeah, so what Sony's doing, Sony's which they thought they could get away with a few years ago, when the relationship broke down for a little bit there. Um, is basically they're just gonna use this last Spider-Man movie with Marvel as a launch pad. They're not gonna renew that fucking contract with them. They're gonna bring old Tommy Boy just to normal Sony world, and they're gonna have Venom. They're gonna have Morbius. We're gonna have the Aaron Taylor Johnson fucking Craven.
Wait,
Um,
what?
yeah, yeah.
That's a
You haven't
thing?
heard about that? Yeah,
No, I haven't heard about that.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is gonna be playing Craven the Hunter in a Craven solo movie
But okay, this is the guy that was in Avengers: Age of Ultron, right?
as Quicksilver.
As
Yes,
Quicksilver. The
and he
the
was also Kick Ass.
also
Yes,
Kick-Ass. He's also going to be Craven the
Craven the
Hunter,
Hunter.
hunting down Todd Holland.
Yes, Sergey. Um,
Okay, so just because I'm a little
whatever.
ignorant of the particulars of the deal here, but so No Way Home is going to come out, is going to
The
play a,
final movie.
it's going to set up the final movie in the shared thing, and
Yeah, in the contract.
now Sony gets to keep it. They get to pick up,
If they choose not to, if they choose not to come back to the table, yeah,
they could take Spidey and just
because
carry. Oh,
Spidey's theirs.
oh my god.
Spidey is theirs.
So Spider-Man
Disney,
could leave the MCU again.
yeah, because that almost happened a few years ago. Remember?
I guess I forgot.
There was that huge thing where Sony and Disney were like, we're ending our our thing together.
Hmm.
Um,
I forgot
and it
about
was
that.
like right, yeah, and Tom Holland made a huge thing where he went to both the companies and was just like, hey guys,
We need to
like
make
I
this
really want this to
work.
work. Yeah, it's like going to his parents who are going through a divorce essentially, being like, hey guys, please
Don't get
can we
divorced.
make this work? And then they
So
made it happen.
is he going to be done playing Spider-Man if he's not
I
in
don't
the
know, because technically this is his last movie too.
so
No,
yeah,
he has one more MCU like
appearance.
appearance. Yeah, outside of his movie, and that's it. Is and so he would, in talking with him, what from what we've seen of him talking about this, he's saying like this is the end of like this as we know it, right?
Hmm.
And he's like he's playing it coy whether he'll come back or not, but of course he's gonna fucking come back. He enjoys it. It's making him an ass ton of money. He'll probably keep doing it. But he said, and if we do come back, it's gonna look very different, right? Um, and assumedly, to me, this is already what I thought was gonna happen. But like to me, that sounds like done with MCU. Sony's gonna use the momentum, keep going with Holland Spider-Man, and incorporate their solo stuff they've been cooking up into this, given even more credence by Venom showing, or by the end credits of Let There Be Carnage, where Venom gets teleported to the MCU.
What the fuck? I did not know
Yeah,
about
the end
that.
credits, the in the movie, the symbiotes talk about being like more than what you think they are, and that there's some interdimensional capabilities or whatever.
Oh my
And then
god.
all of a sudden he gets zapped and he's like on a beach or some shit, and then like the stuff from Far From Home, like the Mysterio type stuff, I think plays on the TV or some shit.
And that's how they
So
place it. Okay.
yeah, so whether he actually shows up in No Way Home, I have no idea. But
Oh my
No Way Home is
is
bringing in
it's kind of the kitchen
all the
sink
Sony bad
movie.
guys,
Yeah, you're right.
and
They're bleeding everything together.
mm-hmm, and setting up. Remember the hilarious idea so many years ago during the Amazing Spider-Man, where they were going to start doing villain solo movies and then build to a Sinister Six movie.
Yeah.
Look what's happening right now.
They kind of backdoored into that original plan, didn't they?
They did it.
Yeah.
Venom's out. Morbius is coming. Craven's coming. Fucking, you have the villains of five past Spider-Man movies, six, 5 or 6 past Spider-Man movies coming back. One from each, right? You got Green Goblin from the first one.
Doc
You
Ock
got
from
Doc
2.
Ock from the second. You got Sandman from 3,
With the chance of
li-
Venom also showing up. That's
potentially.
potentially.
You have Lizard from Amazing Spider-Man 1. These are the
They really did.
Lizard and Sandman. Lizard and Sandman were rumors, but recent variant cover for Empire magazine for No Way Home features stuff relating to the villains for this movie on it, like symbols. It has a bunch of symbols and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sand arm with like the green and black striped
Shirt.
whatever.
Yeah, his signature
Yep.
jersey that he wears.
And then they even in an article say that Sandman's coming back and the Resiphon's Lizard is coming back. So they're back. And then I don't think anybody from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
So I haven't thought too much about this, but could this
And then of
be?
course the rumored Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield,
Well, I
right?
guess that's the
So
question. It's like if this is becomes the urtext of Spider-Man,
yeah.
like if they really are just gonna embrace the idea that all of these movies share connective tissue,
Hmm.
in a tangible way that is going to be articulated through the MCU. Disney and Marvel are doing the biggest fucking favor for Sony. And it
Oh yeah.
was just
They
so
already
that,
did.
yeah,
They did the
but
biggest fucking favor by bringing Spider-Man in
but
the first place.
but yeah, that's what I, but that's like but they needed that. Marvel and Disney
Oh yeah.
needed
They
Spider-Man
wanted
to
that.
be there. They
Yeah.
wanted it. And the price of it is basically supporting this company's bumbling through this plan to create a
Hmm.
cinematic universe. The
Yep.
part of the cost of this is that, yeah, now they have made Sony able to walk on their own 2 feet and do their own thing and paddle their own canoe and take
If they
Spider-Man
are
with
able to
them
do it.
and take
Yeah.
Spider-Man with them.
Yep. But
So,
then we're gonna see a Spider-Man movie without Feige's hand involved, right? So
and then that will really be the determinator, I guess,
yeah,
if
exactly.
it'll
That's just
succeed or
gonna
not. Because if they don't
also
have if they don't have like people like Doctor Strange to throw in there, will they
yep.
still be able to make a good movie?
But that's the thing though is Marvel also did him a huge favor by bringing the multiverse in.
Mm-hmm. It makes all things possible.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now if Spider-Man disappears, he's just shunted off into another universe.
Well, if he disappears, it could just be because he wished himself out of existence accidentally. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Nerd me always gets happy to just see a couple Ditko boys hanging out together right there. Strange and Spidey.
Just
But
having fun, just rewriting
yep,
reality.
yep.
But is this
Um,
actually Doctor Strange?
that's the thing.
What if it's just Mephisto?
What if it's Mephisto? I'm
Yeah.
starting to get tired of motherfuckers always calling out Mephisto. I mean, he's gonna come, and it might be in this
but dude,
because they're using One More Day and One Moment in Time,
that was the follow up. Yeah.
yeah, as inspirations for this. So if he was gonna show up, it would be in this. But like, I'm so goddamn tired of it. Just WandaVision, Mephisto, Mephisto, Mephisto. No, Mephisto doesn't show up. Fucking Loki. Oh, Mephisto, Mephisto, Mephisto. Doesn't show up. Doctor Strange playing a little fast and loose. Fucking
Maybe
Mephisto, Mephisto,
Mephisto. It's
Mephisto.
got to be Mephisto. But like to their credit, they haven't utilized him yet because it's
No,
just a little too satany.
yeah,
It,
oh yeah,
yeah.
little Sadie. And odds are, when we do see Mephisto, it's gonna be something different. It's gonna be he'll still be like with Marvel. It's he's one of the kings of the Hell realm, whatever.
And he
In
isn't he
this, he's
like
probably just
he's the father of
gonna
like a bunch of X-Men characters, isn't he?
no,
No,
nope. That's Azazel.
Azazel.
That's
Okay,
Azazel.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Azazel's another. Um, that's a whole other thing, dude. He's Nightcrawler's dad.
My bad.
He's so basically biblical time mutants. Um, ones that existed that resembled Angel of the X-Men, and ones like Azazel, and that's where the whole angels and demons thing come from. And but Azazel is the lord of some weird dimension, other dimension, and that's the dimension that Nightcrawler bamps through. That's why it smells like sulfur whenever he does it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking whatever. That's another one. But like, so this is probably just gonna be like Mephisto's a fucking interdimensional being from some hellish dimension. You know, probably what it's gonna be. But yeah, I don't know. It's and then that also means potentially Ghost Rider showing up, right?
And they're amping him up. They're putting him in a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Midnight Suns one.
yeah.
Because because they've got a hold of him again, right? Um, and the fucking Marvel TV doesn't exist anymore, so they can't hold him hostage
As a
like they were for
potential
a minute.
TV show. They just keep on
Yeah, that
making
got canceled.
they just kept on making pilot. Wait, did they actually make a pilot for Ghost?
I don't know if they made a pilot. I think they might have made a pilot, but it was what's his name? Gabriel Luna? Is that his name?
Oh.
He played him on Agents of Shield.
Oh, I see.
Um,
Okay. I didn't get too deep
the
into that show.
Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider.
Okay.
Um, and then it was like, oh, they're gonna make a Ghost Rider TV show. Surprise, surprise, they're gonna use Gabriel Luna again. And then as soon as Feige got control over everything, it was
Who was
get
running
the fuck out.
who was running the TV production?
Perlmutter.
Perlmutter. And
Perlmutter was in control of that.
as soon as Feige could muscle Perlmutter out for good,
Yep.
the TV was dead.
Yep. That's why the Netflix shows got canceled. Um that's why like the other shit like Cloak and Dagger got canceled. Runaways.
Runaways. That one's
Um
unfortunate because
Hellstrom went for one season only because it was already made when they were or in the process of being made when they did when he took over. Um that was canceled. Um I think the Howard the Duck animated series that Kevin Smith was going to do got canceled.
thank God.
The MODOK one went into production because that was already being made. That's probably canceled
Was that
at
Patton
this point.
Oswalt doing the voices
Yep.
for that? God,
Yep.
he's a busy
There's
man
a
for
rumor
that.
now that Jim Carrey is going to be MODOK in the MCU.
He popped up in a movie I saw recently called Spine of Night that I think you would like, Brodsho.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's all um like Conan the Barbarian, Frank Frazetta type stuff, but it's all
Oh yeah.
rotoscoped. And
Hell yeah.
Patton
Wait,
Oswalt shows
I might
up.
have watched that. Did it just come out?
It just came out. Yeah,
I think Tyler streamed that on Discord one night.
oh yeah, that shit ruled.
Yeah, that was tight.
Like
I
with
love that.
with the blue flower, the bloom.
Yes.
And yeah.
Chick that was naked the whole time.
Yeah, voiced by like what's her name?
Lucy Lawless.
Lucy Lawless. Yeah, no,
Yep.
it had a lot going for it, but
Yeah,
Patton Oswalt popping up in there kind of took me out of it for a second,
right?
Because it was just too Dungeons and Dragons podcast for me.
Right.
But I'm glad you've seen that because
yeah,
that movie ruled.
Yeah, it was tight. It was just a random thing one night, and Tyler was just like, "Hey, streaming this thing, get in here," and I was like, "All right,
check this out."
Yeah, yeah, and it was tight. But so, yeah, so that's why, like, all that shit got taken away in the last so many years was because Feige got control over everything.
He was just cleaning house.
Yeah, Perlmutter now pretty much gets he's still like one of the larger shareholders in like Disney or some shit. And he still gets updated on financial things for Marvel. But he has virtually no control over anything now. He's on the board for Disney or whatever.
Like, how did he rise
Feige's now like in charge of like the comic shit too.
Really? So he's the keeper
everything.
of the keys of everything now.
Yeah, he is Marvel now.
Jesus.
Completely.
And what is this going to do to the comic side of things as he settles?
Probably nothing.
Probably nothing. Yeah.
I mean, just because I doubt he'll have any like have to do creative things or whatever. But I mean, if anything, it's just like, hey, make sure this is similar to the movies. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they did that with the Turtles. They've now made all the appropriate changes to the different characters so they resemble how they look in the movies.
Because we're not really going to see the comics really inspiring the storylines of these movies anymore, for the most part.
I mean, we will. I mean, like
what I mean is modern comic storylines probably
the ones
won't
currently happening.
Yeah, they're not going to be lifted or
not as
used.
much. No,
Yeah.
no, because like we're still getting stuff like, stuff from WandaVision was somewhat recent. Um, Falcon Winter Soldier stuff was, within the last, even 5 years with Falcon being Cap. Um, Loki takes a lot from Loki books from the last, 5 to 10 years.
I guess Deadpool,
Um,
obviously, but
Deadpool, Hawkeye, takes a lot from the
Matt
Matt
Fraction.
Fraction, David
Okay.
Aja run. Um, so I mean, we're still gonna get stuff
Here and there.
um here and there, but yeah, I mean, now though, with the fact that like they've mined the stuff for the main characters, yeah, for the
Yeah.
ones that we've had, all that shit's been mined, yes. But now, like Shang-Chi don't really have definitive runs. Um, Eternals has two runs that people know and talk about. Both of those were thrown out the window, so that that's not fucking. And then like what's left? What's next? That's new. You know, um, Doctor
Especially,
Strange is dealing with multiverse stuff. Merchandise leak. Fucking, we're getting my boy Shumagorath.
well, that's pretty fucking metal. But then that
Yeah.
that leads me to my next question, though. Like,
Yeah.
with everything we know to be coming, with this multiverse bullshit, what
hmm
relevance does any of this celestial nonsense from the Eternals have to do with any of it?
So okay, here's my theory. All right. Okay. So obviously this is building to a cosmic thing, right? So we got Adam Warlock coming up in Guardians, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guardians 3. Will Poulter gonna be playing Adam Warlock. Um, and then I mean that's the last Guardians movie, so I'm sure most of them will fuck off, if not all of them. But so we got a new cosmic dude there. We got new cosmic people with the Eternals. We've got Captain Marvel. We've got now we've got Star Fox, right? At the end of Eternals as well. And then what we got coming, which I think would be remiss if we didn't count in this, at the end of phase 4, what do we have, Chuck Crane? The end of phase,
The Infinity War, like the end game
no,
stuff. Oh, I guess I'm not
key,
sure.
keyword here, we're in phase
It's
4
four.
right now.
Oh, is the Fantastic Four gonna fucking show up?
Yes. Fantastic Four is coming at the end of phase 4.
Oh my goodness,
So,
I forgot about that.
a so Fantastic Four is coming, they can mine all that shit again, right?
Oh my
Um,
god, you could bring
from the comics.
Doctor Doom into the equation.
Not just that, who do we know that has a tie to the Celestials?
Galactus.
So, at the end of Eternals, in a very, very jolting
Oh
fucking scene, you have, what's seemingly the resolution, right? You have fucking Gemma Chan, Cersei walking on some hill. Everything's nice. All
yeah,
of a sudden, just fucking storm clouds bum rush the sky, and you see fucking 6 dot lights in the sky, and then fucking the clouds part dramatically, and then you see fucking Eshram in the fucking sky, and some fucking energy ball shoots out, grabs her, pulls her up into fucking space, and all her fellow Eternals are up there, and he's just like, "All right, motherfucker, you killed an Eternal. I'm not gonna kill you, um, but one day we're gonna come back and we're gonna pass judgment on you and see if what you've done is worthy or whatever the shit."
yeah. Did you make the
Now,
right call here?
now we could simply just have Eshram do that, right? Because he's Eshram the judge, right? He passes judgment. Or maybe, just maybe, he doesn't like what's happened, so he sends someone
Yeah,
to deal with the earth.
the judgment is the World Eater gets you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my guess is this eternal shit is leading to my boy Galen showing up
And being like, sorry
to
guys, you're next.
fucking suck down the earth, right?
Yeah.
Give it the ultimate suck, right? With my boy Norin Rad coming in hot on his fucking surfboard.
Oh, that'd be too much.
Um,
Would that work?
and
Would that
who
work?
better
Yeah.
to help usher that in than the Fantastic Four, right? To tie our Earthbound heroes
Mm-hmm.
to the cosmic shit, right?
Yeah.
And that'll bring in your cosmic heroes in from space back to meet up with our Earthbound heroes in a fucking Infinity War Endgame type shit again.
Yeah. This time, fighting Galactus.
This time fighting Galactus. And if they really wanted to be super cheeky about it, they could even include um, some hordes of stuff too, um, and do what they've done with everything, and uh, take a name from a series or an event, and they could call it
Mm-hmm.
Annihilation,
Yes, they could.
right?
Yeah, they've done that. They've done that via quite often, actually.
You could have like the FF movie set up Annihilus, right?
Yeah.
And then you could have like Galactus or Celestial some shit set out the Annihilation wave, right? And then that is then, you know, used to help usher in Galactus, or Galactus maybe he has not quite the same thing as like the Ultimate Galactus and the way they used him in Rise of the Silver Surfer, but maybe he's got some sort of horde thing as well, right?
They could go like that's the thing. The question: do they make Galactus the giant man on a throne, or do they go the
They
Warren
better.
or they go the Warren Ellis route and just make him a horde of
He,
robots?
they don't have to do that now
Yeah.
though. We've got giant fucking space dudes now.
Exactly. Agreed.
We got
Yeah.
Celestials, right?
Yeah. They don't have to be cool. They might as well just go comic book with it. Yeah.
We can do it now,
Yeah.
right? So fucking that is my grand guess.
And hopefully that is the direction they take, because that would at least be somewhat satisfying. It would,
Yeah,
because you got to give Captain Marvel something she can't beat on her own.
yeah.
You know, because apparently she
Give
was,
her the fucking world eater, dude.
yeah, but bring in something that all tremble before, because
Yeah,
that's what Thanos kind of was. You know, like as a villain, it's like when you realized how much he could fuck shit up.
yeah.
It made those
That great
last,
complex robot Thanos.
yeah, they just what yeah forget about that like I almost feel like this Eternals movie, they are gonna like look at it as, okay, just forget that this is here.
Yeah,
They really did, because it's different than when Thor 2 sucked, or when
yeah,
Iron Man 2 was a complete mess.
yeah,
This thing sucked precisely because so many people who typically just guide things with their hands from afar were
yep.
used to it just working. And this did not work whatsoever. It had
No,
no idea what it was doing, where it was going to fit, what it was actually setting up even. It didn't really seem like it had a direction to jump off from.
no. And
Yeah.
that's just it. They 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 have themselves a little trouble in the fact that they used this to set up what is potentially the next big crossover thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to a movie that potentially, I mean, a lot of people will see it, but I don't think a lot of people will see it. Um, It's look at that. That's how a celestial should be done right there. Look at that big chunky boy.
Yeah,
That's a celestial.
just vaporizing all things before him.
Not those fucking lanky, sleek looking bastards that we just saw before that. Um so it's so they kind of have to move that forward because knowing Feige and how Marvel does things, they have the next 5 years of movies planned.
They should.
They have the next 5 years of direction planned, what they're building to.
Like,
Um,
I thought that they had at least 10 years of movies
usually,
figured
yeah,
out. Yeah,
that's why X-Men isn't coming soon, right? Because they like they've got shit planned. And maybe that's why we're getting Fantastic Four so soon because they got control of Fantastic Four at the same time they got control of X-Men.
but it's
But we're getting
easier.
Fantastic Four at
Yeah,
the end of Phase 4,
you
right?
can plug them in a lot easier. How do you
And
explain
especially
mutants not
if you have
being
this
there?
grand
Yeah,
cosmic thing that you want to deal with as your next big thing, Fantastic Four fits in right
yeah,
there.
yeah. Plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
The you don't have to factor in the equation of, well, how come we don't have any mutants in the history of the
Yeah,
MCU, and suddenly now there's a bunch of them. It's
right.
yeah, like how do you explain backstory when you don't have the lived experience of
Yep.
Charles Xavier, or even Magneto being in the Holocaust and all that stuff, if they even keep any of that relevant?
Yeah.
Because you
Also, I just noticed I've been saying the Eternal, whose name's been said a bajillion times in that movie's name wrong. It's not Rasham, it's Arasham,
it's
but
Arishem.
doesn't matter.
I was just letting it slide
Um,
because yeah,
yeah, doesn't matter.
it
Fuck
doesn't
him.
it doesn't matter the exactly just
Yeah.
an
So yeah, it's this is whether good or bad, this is an important part of what's going to happen going forward.
unfortunately.
Um, yeah, because the we're going to the cosmos again for next big bad. Um, whether that's the Celestials proper or if it's like I'm thinking where it's going to be Galactus.
Like
Um,
like you were saying, a proxy for them. It's
yeah,
like
because
we
he was given power by the Celestials, right?
hmm
He was created by them too, essentially.
hmm
Um, he was a dude before that. He was a dude from a planet of the previous universe. That's Galactus. He's a survivor of the universe that came before our universe.
that birth, like the end of that universe big banged us.
Yep. And
Yeah,
then he was in his little cosmic fucking house cocoon egg thing, and he was boom,
a,
was Galactus.
and he's the entropy in our reality,
Yeah.
our universe.
Yep. So who better as a tool of judgment to punish than Galactus, right?
So are the Eternals are gonna still be they're still a mystery to the MCU at large, and then
Yep.
all of a sudden Galactus is gonna roll up and be like, "Hey, y'all motherfuckers fucked up, and now I'm gonna eat all of you." And then
Yeah.
all of the MCU gets to be like, "Who the fuck are these guys, and what did they do?"
Yeah.
It's like, we're the protectors of this planet.
That's just it.
Why are you dooming us with your bullshit?
How do they start sprinkling in
Yeah,
the Eternals? Because it has to be the Earthbound Eternals, right?
yeah, because now they're split up somewhere in space.
Yeah. And you don't have your fucking figurehead since he anheroed himself into the fucking sun after being a bad guy. So
Unforgivable, evil white
unforgivable.
man, evil white
Yeah.
man. Shame.
Also, another thing that was amusing to me, just with I mean, suspension of disbelief is a thing you have to have while watching superhero stuff or consuming superhero media.
Yeah,
Any fantasy, sci-fi, right? Suspension of disbelief is a big thing. And you don't want to think too hard about it. But my favorite thing is this group of people all have very like distinct regional accents that
Mm-hmm.
are developed very specifically over time based on their locations. Also, one of them uses American Sign Language
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
Assumedly, I don't know for a fact it's ASL, but I mean,
What else is she going to be using? I
it
mean,
looks like it.
maybe they were smart enough to have her use like a constructed sign language that
Yeah,
doesn't exist anywhere. I don't know. All they had to
but
make her
the
do
fact
is
of
just
all these
yeah,
people with like very regional accents look very much like the regions they end up living in
yeah,
or whatever.
the actors' innate ethnicity is what
Yeah,
determines the characterization
which
they have.
which it's not a criticism from me of casting a wide variety of people to show, because like the point of that is, like they said, is they wanted the cast to show the spread of what mankind looks like, right?
Yeah,
Which fair, if these were actually like humans, like they were
and not just robots.
originally,
Like
not
if
just
they
fucking
what
robots
if
that
they
thought they were aliens.
if yes, like I don't know. Why does Sprite have to be a child if not just for the variety of the
Always
casting?
was.
Always
Just always
was.
was.
Even
Yep.
in the source material, Sprite was the
Yep.
child one. Okay.
Yep.
So
That actually was um the central conflict of the Neil Gaiman John Romita Jr.
okay.
Eternals series, which is the other one that people enjoy.
So okay, the so you're telling me that the one thing that felt, interesting and authentic was like one of the only things that comes from the comics?
But it's different. So
Yeah.
Sprite, in this the Gaiman um Romita Jr. Eternal series, you find Icarus going around trying to get his team back together who all have lost their memories.
Okay.
They don't know who they are. He's trying to make them remember and get them to come back, whatever. Basically, what you find out is Sprite, after um, after having the same central conflict that she has in this, which a Sprite in the books up until recently was a dude, right? Um, has the same conflict where they hate not living a normal life and wish to do that. So basically, I don't know. I haven't read that series all the way through. It looks gorgeous, but like essentially, Sprite wipes everyone's memories, and so they can live normal lives. Essentially,
Not be doomed with the awareness of who they are and how long they've
yeah,
existed.
yeah. So it's kind of like what happens in the movie. Very, just the fact that they're miserable with the fact that they're stuck
But
being a kid, and
they're robots now.
but they're robots.
Yeah.
They're not eternal beings that are genetically and like
Yeah, instead of
engineered
being
humans.
demigods,
Yes,
they are
highly sophisticated robots.
yeah, that have just been pooped out by these
Yep,
omnipotent beings to complete
yep,
tasks for. There's probes.
yeah.
They're not superheroes. They're just space probes sent
They're
out.
space gardeners. They're
Space
gardeners.
gardeners. They're
That's exactly
topiaries.
what they are,
Yeah,
because the Celestials plant the seed in the planet,
yeah.
literally called the seed. They go there, cultivate the population,
Mm-hmm.
grow it, so it feeds the seed, so the plant can grow. They're literally gardeners, cosmic gardeners.
Which
Um,
could be an interesting thing.
yeah, if it
To
wasn't made wholly uninteresting
yeah,
by bad writing.
by bad right.
And like the way they build, the one thing we didn't touch on is the way they build the mythos in this is so incredibly convoluted too.
Compare it to Dune,
Yeah,
who did it so just visually, basically.
yeah.
The like because I watched the David Lynch Dune
the
before I saw the Denis Villeneuve
acid trip
Dune.
fever dream.
The one that literally has like 15 minutes of
Yeah,
explaining everything before you even
yeah,
see an actor that
yes.
that isn't Virginia Madsen, narrating. Yeah, it
And the one where like
because
the
like
whole
because
last
it
two
yeah
thirds of the book happen in like 5 minutes.
yeah the Eternals is more of the David Lynch Dune than of
Yeah,
the and for a movie that is supposed to be so ambitious and have such artistic merit behind it,
yeah,
which is what a lot of the critics defending it are saying, is that audiences just don't get this movie. Fuck no. No,
no,
they all watched that Dune movie and they got
yeah,
it, and they
yeah.
liked it enough that we're getting
And what's
another one.
hilarious too, I've heard so many people being like, I didn't understand shit of what happened in Dune, but I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, that was the answer I got more than anything. Was
Yeah.
like, I need to watch it
And I was
again
like,
so
it's
I can
okay.
understand. Yeah,
It's okay. I know what that book is about, and I still don't fully understand it.
but
And that's
that's
okay.
okay. Yeah, like
I still enjoy it.
what was that little like spider thing? I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't need to
doesn't
know.
matter.
I don't care.
It's
Throat
all good.
singing, I'm cool with it. It doesn't
It's
need.
fine.
I don't. Yeah, just
But like
this
this,
move.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
they tell
it's
you
it's a
everything.
standard. Yeah, and it's a standard thing that a lot of studios do with franchises they're not sure of, where it's like we got to cram everything into this first movie. But
Yeah,
Marvel should know that it's still. I get it. This is a rebuilding period for them with characters they're unsure of.
but they could
But
still do
like
better.
you and
Yeah,
you, the audience has enough faith in you at this point, earned or not,
yeah.
that that you will deliver something that they will enjoy. That you can space some of this shit out. You can give it time.
it
You
could
know what I
have it
mean?
could have breathed more, like I circle back to the whole using Pink Floyd's time
Mm-hmm.
to bring us into the experience. And if she
How
because
much fucking of the budget do you think that
a
cost?
lot, because Pink Floyd doesn't give their songs up to anybody.
Yes.
Like, the only Pink Floyd song I can remember being in a movie of any size was The Italian Job, and even that was a
Okay.
cover.
Right.
It wasn't the actual version of Money.
Which is cheaper.
It's way cheaper. And but
Other than that, it's the wall.
and yeah, other than that, it's the wall. But the Chloe Zhao apparently, like, how filmmakers always send screening recommendations to the cast and crew to be like, okay, we need to
Yep.
watch, like, we're making The Dark Knight. You need to watch a bunch of Michael Mann movies so you get what I'm about.
Yep.
We're making The Eternals. I want you all to watch Tree of Life and think about Terry Malick and everything he was doing in that movie. Where was
Right.
that in this? This was
No. Yeah.
bombastic. This had no breathing room.
No.
It just
No space.
no space. There was no time
Moved out
to.
a clip and tried to explain everything. Dude, the cuts to the flashbacks were so jolting too.
Yeah,
He was just like, "What?"
it was amateurish. The stuff that I retained from the experience of seeing this thing was just going like, hold on a second now.
Yeah.
What year is it?
Yep.
And who directed this? Like, who made this? Who wrote this? And it's
And
strange when you look at all the people who touched this thing and how it
yep.
turned out the way it did.
Back to uh, back to like poor like masking bad CGI and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like the antithesis of that then is like when you do CGI in the light, you figure then that you're gonna put budget into making that look really good.
Lots of good texture.
Yeah,
Yeah, all that stuff.
but like you see Kingo's private jet, that shit looked horrible, but terrible. And then like you see then the scene at the end when Makari runs and grabs fucking Icarus and takes off, right?
Yeah.
That shit looked terrible too.
There's
Like
better
really
CG.
bad.
There's better CG in commercials. And
Yeah,
and granted, they have less to do and like more budget to commit to that 30-second ad you see.
yeah.
But
So I'm
this is
thinking
still
about budget with
this
this
is
movie.
still just a fucking Marvel movie. Like
Yeah,
how like why were they even talking about cutting corners?
I'm thinking about budget with this movie. Okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the budget is for it, but okay. So obviously we got some actors in there that require a lot of money,
Yeah. Salma
right?
Hayek ain't cheap. Angelina Jolie ain't cheap. The rest of that
Ain't cheap.
cast will work for peanuts just
Yeah.
to be in a Marvel movie.
All right. So we got that. It costs money, and it's 10 actors, right? So no matter how cheap they come, that's still 10 motherfuckers, right?
Yeah.
Um, then you have things like licensing Pink Floyd's time,
Yeah. Yeah. That
expensive as shit.
for all of like 30 seconds that it's in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you have the thing that I didn't think of till today was you were talking about how um a lot of Marvel movies, it's these visual motherfuckers who paint a scenery and make these big visual environments, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that has been made a point of so much with this movie is that all that shit was shot on location,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
All those big sprawling vistas
Of them out in
and
nature.
hillsides,
Yeah.
that was all that was all on location. So
Expensive.
you're paying for all of these motherfuckers to travel, paying for all this crew to travel, expensive.
Yeah. So compared to other Marvel movies and like the workflow that they have,
Yeah.
this was too global of a movie to
Yeah.
have.
It's not shot in Georgia.
Yeah, you're right. That is a fair point. And while they did set some scenes in South Dakota, you can be guaranteed that they
Yeah.
shot all of that very expensively, like in
Probably
Argentina.
like Croatia or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
No,
Like so
that's
it's like
you probably got the nail on the head with that. That makes a lot of
yeah.
sense. It
Yeah.
explains a lot of the deficiencies that this movie had that seemed
Hmm.
inexplicable, given what
Sucked
we.
up a lot of budget.
And this
That's why
wasn't.
all the CG looks terrible and it sucked
Yeah,
up a thing.
they
All
did
that
not
budget went to
have.
all this other shit.
They did not have the Russo brothers making
No.
this movie. This is the most expensive, sprawling thing Chloe Zhao has ever thought about. You know, her
Hmm.
movies are so spare and intimate, and she typically had such direct control over every minute aspect of their production. She directs her movies, she writes them, and she edits them and shoots them.
Hmm.
Like she's one of those kind of, Swiss Army knife filmmakers.
Hmm.
And in this movie, it was her job to hold an iPad and just kind of give vague instruction. And
Hmm.
it worked out exactly, as one would think, because she was realizing, oh, I don't actually have as much of a say, and I have to listen to what my assistant AD and this army of producers are talking to me. I'm directing
Hmm.
this during the COVID pandemic. So,
Hmm.
yeah, it's that and I think that might be partially what is another reason for it being so expensive and hard and why so many corners were cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that answers the question right there.
Hmm. And I I want to. Do you know who the cinematographer was on this?
Let me see if I can pull that up
I
quick.
mean, this is kind of disrespectful, but that's
No, it's not.
who
Okay.
the cinematographer was on this.
It's Ben Davis. Okay, so this is a man who he's part of the company. He has strictly worked in Marvel,
Okay,
beginning in 2014. Since Guardians of the Galaxy, he's done Guardians
makes
1,
sense.
Age of Ultron, Doctor Strange,
Hmm.
Captain Marvel, and now Eternals. He
So a lot of space shit.
lots of space shit, and he had directed Kick. Not directed. He was the cinematographer on Kick Ass.
Okay.
So this is a man in his 60s. He's been around. He shot Layer Cake
Oh,
in Stardust. Like this guy
oh,
is not a bad
no.
practitioner. Seven Psychopaths.
So
Um,
I'm gonna then blame this on the
Three
whoever
billboards
the
outside of Ebbing, Missouri. You know,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. He's
So
he's he's a good, yeah. He's got pedigree.
I, I'm gonna I'm gonna shift what I'm talking about off this guy. I'm gonna put it on whoever the fucking color correction person is.
They are more so probably the problem.
Yeah,
It's yeah.
the aesthetic of this movie is boring as fuck.
It looks like what a lot of movies look like these days. They just look
It's
like
so
flat.
it's everything that Marvel motherfuckers were complaining about Snyder movies for.
Hmm.
The like set the like toned down colors and
Yeah,
like
dour, a very dour
yeah.
palette. Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. There was a couple vibrant things where they were in. I don't know if it was when they were in like Babylon or Egypt, whatever the fuck. And the one scene where Kingo's filming the fucking
yeah,
movie. Other
yeah,
than that, the color is just that boring fucking, flat, dark, whatever bullshit.
yeah. And
Which the
well, yeah,
Eternals, like most Jack Kirby things, their color's bright as fuck. Like Icarus's costume's blue and yellow and
yeah.
red and like
They are meant to pop out of a comic book cover,
yeah.
and make you pick it up, because
Which this is all just very like same color wise across the whole movie. It's all just kind
yeah,
of
it
even the warm areas, like the warm colored areas, like the fucking desert where they go find
but
fucking
that's
Athena
but this is just a
and
problem of movies in general. They end up
yeah,
looking like Patagonia commercials.
yeah.
Like
It all's just too cool
yeah,
color wise. Like it's this. This is the whole movie. This color is the whole
brown.
movie. And it makes it yeah, and it
It
makes it very boring
it looked more like a
to
Ridley
look at.
Scott movie. It reminded me
Yeah.
of Prometheus more than anything.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Or even yeah,
Uh, uh,
like look at like these shots from
right here.
Game of Thrones that we're getting here. It's very very similar.
Yeah.
And
It's in this context when you're trying to make a big look at that shit.
yeah,
Look at that color. When you're trying to make something big, vibrant, mythological, don't make it just boring as fuck to look at, dude.
yeah, like look at
There's
this.
my boy
Yeah.
Black Knight right
Yeah, look
there.
at that art. And
Look at that boy.
look at and how, even though it's just a bunch of floating heads, look at how distinctive they all are.
Yeah.
Yeah. The most shocking
Because
surprise guests of all. Goddamn. Good
next
stuff.
end game. Um,
Get hyped.
when Black Knight shows up, he's not gonna look like that.
No,
You're not gonna look cool as shit.
he will not. He will not have awesome tights and like Errol Flynn
No.
boots.
No. That's the greatest casualty of these movies is the fucking Buccaneer boot, dude.
See, like, do you think that even
That
like
shit.
yeah, like for that little blip, because like we are just kind of just aping off of whatever
That
video
boy.
the algorithm gives me. But yeah,
Yeah.
like even like, in this, he is just a full on knight.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what he is.
yeah, but the
I mean,
Buccaneer
and
boot.
to be fair, he hasn't become Black Knight yet. Fuck you, Stanley. Get off my screen. Um, piece of shit. Um,
Excuse me.
yeah, the greatest casualty is the Buccaneer boot.
Oh
No,
man,
the-
the
oh yeah,
chivalry is dead. We can't have real men in this world anymore,
no,
Brodsho.
no,
God, in this
fuck you.
moment, and like in all these the Watchers and all that garbage,
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
fucking
Oh
piece of
yeah,
trash.
this is why they hired him. They
Yeah.
hired him because of this.
Hey, you were already the Black Knight sort of situation.
God, I don't think he wants to be reminded too much about Game of Thrones. I don't think any of these people do.
Too bad they're showing up together, and fucking Amelia Clark is gonna be in Secret Invasion. So
Was she going to be a scroll?
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck she's gonna be.
Oof,
My guess is Skrull Queen, but
that'd be pretty
which would be
dope.
hilarious because she'd be another evil queen. But
Another goddamn.
you know,
Well, you've talked my ear off and satisfied my curiosity
dude,
and downloaded a lot of shit I didn't even realize about this fucking movie.
yeah. Like I said, dude, it's that's not even, dude. like that's me saving shit. That's not me going all out
I know.
about it. You
I
know what I
know.
mean?
I know. I look forward to hearing the fullness of what you have to say.
It's gonna be much more. I'm gonna be much more angry sounding. There's gonna be much more somehow much more expletives.
But I
Um,
was more concerned with just
Look at
mining
that.
the
That's the eternal
positiveness.
ship right there, dude.
Like what could we get out of this?
Yeah.
What's the whole point of this? Because they clearly don't know what the point is.
No.
So we
I
have to
was open
yeah.
to this being a thing. One thing, I don't know if I've said this yet. One thing I want to make extremely clear. I'm not the kind of nerd who is like, oh, they were not loyal to the source material, therefore this is garbage.
You're a
That's
very open, forgiving
yes.
fan, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can you could if this movie was as like outright disrespectful to the source material as it was, but was still a good movie, I would be okay with it.
It just
Completely fine. Would I be salty that like Kirby gets the shaft? Yeah, I'd be salty about that. But if it was a good ass movie,
we could deal.
I'm good, dude.
Yeah.
But it
Well,
wasn't.
it was something yeah, instead of having that batshit insanity,
Yeah, dude.
yeah, we get just a square rectangular block
Yep.
basically.
Yeah, exactly. And then our Eternals, instead of being big awe-inducing bombastic gods, are like navel gazers. And
Yeah, like I said, it's a Benetton ad. It's a Patagonia
yeah,
commercial. It
yeah,
and that's kind of what, ruined it for me over time was just how it fell apart as the illusion fell apart. Like what they were being
yeah,
presented to me as did not hold up past that fast forward to the future. As
yep,
soon as I was seeing them just like act like Unitarian ministers,
yeah,
before they were these godlike entities, they
yep.
lost me. And yeah, just kind of
The only
boring.
time you felt like they were gods was that very first shot of them coming down from the ship.
That's
That's it.
it. Because then after that, they just start acting like people, which
Yeah,
you,
that's just we're hanging out,
yeah, we're just,
family.
yeah. I'm gonna
This is the
make
this is
cracks
the
about
only movie.
IKEA and streaming.
Yeah, this is the only movie. Like this should have been a Fast and the Furious movie with how much they brought up family.
No
Like
shit. Oh my god.
without earning it. Without earning it. Fast and the Furious, much as I hate to admit it,
It's
though
hurt.
they has earned it.
Yeah.
Even though like they've been spitting that bullshit the whole time, when even in points where they hadn't earned it yet, by this point, fuck it, they've earned it, right?
Yeah. They
Uh
put in the time.
yeah, this didn't earn it. Didn't earn it.
Which is unfortunate because
Yeah,
they're working with a legacy that they did not build themselves,
no.
and I just wish they would
But
take more care with it,
built
considering
by one of the
all the
most notoriously shafted, most important people in comics.
yeah, and
The King.
he's the man, like he is the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour,
Yeah.
and they spit
Jack
him
the
and
King Kirby,
they
dude.
spit him out of their mouth,
Yeah.
like he's a warhead or something.
Yeah.
But
Don't bring no fucking Stanley Lieber up in front of me, dude.
he cannot be handled. No,
No.
Jack Kirby, gave too much.
This doesn't exist.
Yeah, none
The
of it
MCU
exists.
doesn't exist without the King. Turns out comics are a visual medium. And when you are carrying the brunt of the workload, crafting the story yourself based off of at most a paragraph or two describing what Stan wants
Yeah,
in a story, at most.
yeah, he did
If you're
all the
Kirby and
heavy
Ditko,
lifting.
if you're Kirby and Ditko, he trusted them. So there was many times where it was like, hey, I need a new issue of Fantastic Four.
Just give it to
Kirby
me.
was like, all right, fucking writes it, buffs it out, writes fucking dialogue in the margins to make the story make sense. throw it back to Stan. Stan's like, oh yeah, I'll keep that dialogue. Oh
Well,
no, I'll write my own shitty dialogue for this,
I'll throw in an Excelsior here, and then boom,
and then I'll take all the credit for it because I'm
yeah.
a piece of shit.
God, I almost don't feel bad about how he was, ground down into a pulp later in life
Right?
because he
There's
kind of
part of me. There's part of me that's like, all right,
that's
that's
elder
fine.
abuse, but you know what?
That's exactly. It's I'm not saying I condone it, and I'm not saying I'm like, yes, good, fuck you, you should have. No, I'm not saying
He
that.
didn't
There's
deserve it.
no, there's
Yeah,
part of me though, the like really just shitty part of me that holds that grudge. That is just like, eh, you know,
yeah.
it sounds cold and it sounds like Stan. I will say the positive thing for Stan was he was a great ambassador for the medium.
He
I'll give
was.
him that.
Yeah. When I
He
think
was a
of comic
great
books,
ambassador.
I see his dopey little face.
Yep.
But like you say, the image is king in
Yep.
not just comics, but in film too. And
Yep.
this movie and the MCU
Built on the back of giants.
to an extent, the whole MCU marginalizes a lot of the iconography
Hmm.
and the pop that
Yeah.
Marvel characters innately have because of men like Jack Kirby and
Jack
Ditko.
the King Kirby.
Jack the King Kirby.
I can list on one hand the amount of MCU movies that aren't characters created by Jack Kirby.
That says quite a bit.
Can Black Widow. Um, let's see. Black Widow. We can get really shitty about it and not include this one,
Okay.
but I will just because it's different enough from how it was originally pitched. Spider-Man. Um, Doctor Strange. I think that's about it.
That's it. And that's nuts. Cause
Yeah.
yeah, because
You can, like I said, if you want to be really fucking particular about it, take Spider-Man off that list.
yeah.
If you want to get really annoyingly particular about it, take Spider-Man off that list.
But otherwise,
Otherwise, it's all Jack.
it's all Jack.
All Jack.
And the movies like the Eternals suffer when we
Yeah.
don't have that visual coherence.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shang-Chi,
Shang-Chi.
not Jack.
Well, and I haven't seen that one,
Me
but
either.
but it
I haven't seen Black Widow or Shang-Chi. They're going to be streaming this month, so
oh
plan on watching them.
they're going to be on the Disney Plus
Yep.
for all the
Um,
completionists out there.
yeah. I'll watch the if you want some Marvel shit, just rewatch the like TV shows.
Those were always worth it.
Those are way better.
Yeah, my
The like
parents were
the ones the Disney Plus ones, those are better than what was just shat out on screen. So
which says a lot because there was more care put into those TV shows.
even
More
Falcon Winter Soldier, which was just a basic bitch MCU thing,
yeah, they didn't have to try that hard with that.
no,
Yeah,
better
really.
than this.
Yeah, Loki looked better than this, and
Oh yeah,
had
and that
and
was like, yeah, CGI was better than that too.
they like that CGI Loki crocodile on its own.
Oh yeah,
You
dude,
know, the
Crocodile Loki, love that boy.
price of admission. He's such a good boy.
Yeah.
But I'm turning into
Um.
a pumpkin, my friend.
Yep.
So
It is.
so
We did it.
this was the midnight ramble. We
Yep.
didn't quite make it to the time change where we would go back to
Oh,
one.
we did.
We did. We went back
Yeah.
to 1 o'clock already.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I looked back at my phone a little while ago and it said 1:45. So now it's 1:04.
Now it's
So
104. It happened. Right
yep,
on. Well, that
we
was the
did
whole
it.
point. That was my only desire, was that we would
Yeah,
talk
dude.
long enough that we'd go back in time.
Oh, dude. And I'm not even done.
I know. That's why I'm glad that we did like that. We didn't go too far into the
No,
topic at hand. We kept it kind of broad,
we
and
covered a lot of main points.
but I
Um,
wanted you to have room to eviscerate this movie later
but we
on
we
more
we did not
properly.
go into deep intricacies. Um, yeah, if any motherfuckers want to hear that, that'll happen over on my YouTube channel I have with my buddies Wilson and Tyler called Fargo Knots.
Quality
Um,
content, always
yeah,
delivered weekly. You guys are
weekly.
consistent. You guys are
Yeah,
consistent. That's what
new
I
video every day, Monday through Friday.
appreciate. Like the dedication behind that is an inspiration.
Spit
I could
time.
barely muster up like one thing a week.
It's you know, for me and Wilson, it's just a night of our week recording.
Hmm.
The rest is Tyler doing his editing magic. So
God bless him.
um,
He does good work.
yeah,
So do check them
yeah.
out. If after
I will be
I'll put a
I'll be
link in
going
the
on
description.
I'll be going on a full tilt rant on that
It's
where it's gonna get very angry.
it's gonna be its own video, just on its own.
Yeah, it's gonna be the
Just
most selfish content I've ever done.
I
It's
look
gonna be a lot of like I'm gonna be a lot of like Tyler Wilson be something. I'm gonna let you finish, but like it's gonna be a lot of that, dude. I'm gonna be talking my shit and
laying down the law, not accepting
yeah,
any other answers.
no,
But what you know is true. Based
yep,
as always in your truth, Erik
yep,
Brodsho.
yeah.
Thank you for your time, my man.
Thank you,
Love
thank
and
you.
miss you. And
Yes, you as well, my friend.
to anybody who was watching, thank you. I doubt anybody was, but we'll see.
Hey, doesn't matter.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
not what we do this for.
Exactly. I just needed to know. I just needed to know a little bit about your hatred and your sorrow.
Fucking robots, guys.
Fucking robots. That's all that they are.
Thanos is a robot. 2021. Let's do it.
God, it's bullshit. We should protest. Where are the Marvel offices?
I know, right?
Yeah, Thanos did nothing wrong. The
Yep. Nope.
Celestials are evil.
Yep.
They're just space
Exactly.
Hitler, and we are the Holocaust that they're baking
Yep.
in an oven
Yep. With their cosmic gardeners.
with their cosmic gardeners.
Yep.
Well, have a good night, everybody. Peace out, dude.
So long.
All right, we're done recording.